Once again, we're here with a briefing. We're here with Major General Nadav Padan, who is in the southern part of the country. He's just been working with the troops, with many of the leadership of the army. Major General Padan, thank you very much for addressing us. Can you share with us some updates, some insights, both in terms of the South, the North, and what you're hearing and what you're seeing on the ground?
So the process in the IDF will continue the last few days. The IDF organized the reservists that been recruited the very first day of the war, and are getting organized and taking position along the southern border and the northern border. At the northern border, there is a new division to defend the fence and welcome any try to challenge us along the northern border. So the amount of units and that protecting the settlements and the north border are like in 10 times double than in regular day, even more. When it comes to Judea and Samaria, we are in kind of a long period of time. So even in Judea and Samaria, the settlers and people that live there will see like extra amount of soldier and policemen all over the streets in the villages. When it comes to the Southern Command, the main effort right now is to close the border. We already closed the border yesterday, and the operation to try to clean all the terrorists that's still hiding, shading inside the open area is still in process. Every few hours you hear about what I've heard that it called at the press penetration. It's not a penetration. It's a terrorist hiding pictures or at the outfield between the settlement to the south, and they just take advantage and try to attack a soldier. And all 3 events that we had yesterday, we killed 8 terrorists. No loss to our side, thank God. The reservists and all the other units are training and waiting for order for the next phase, while the Air Force continue to hit the areas in the center of the Hamas inside Gaza Strip, mainly at the north part of the strip, but not only. Huge amount of attack. As I mentioned yesterday, I never saw an Air Force attacking like that in my 37 years of service. There is neighborhoods and areas in Gaza City that are vanished. Rimal neighborhood, for example, which is the fancy neighborhood that all the leadership of Hamas living in, are a hill of canker and stone right now. There is no one standing house. So the attack is quite dramatic, but I have to say it again and again that when you judge it from professional perspective, the IDF is not destroying the city of Gaza. We're targeting the center and the leadership and the houses of the leadership of Hamas and Islamic Jihad. We're not attacking hospitals or just, randomly the center of the city. So when people speak about the asymmetric situation that we are having here, yes, definitely, thank God we are the strong side. But there is another asymmetric situation when it comes to using value. We didn't lost our Jewish value when we come to fight, although we are hitting Hamas very badly. While Hamas launching rockets and attacking civilian, kids, babies, families, trying to hit the center of the cities of Israel just to have as much as casualties as it can, we are very meticulously, very surgically our targets inside Gaza. As I mentioned, we are focusing on hitting the Hamas organization, military, and the Hamas leadership. And the goal right now is to destroy the military ability of Hamas and to destroy the leadership of Hamas from being functional in a few days. So that's what happened the last 2 days, and the IDF get better organized and better equipped and better ready to the next phase of this war. I must say that we didn't lose the strategic effort to divide between arenas, and we're still under challenge of Hezbollah and other militias in Syria that actually challenged us the last 2 days with their attack here, launching a mortar or rocket there. It's just signals, but those signals signal the strategic challenge the IDF and Israel today. The declaration of the president of the US yesterday from that perspective. And it's not only a declaration, the sending of the sixth flag to the Mediterranean, it's a strong, very powerful message of the US. And it's not, like in Israel, it's not a time to speak about red and blue. It's just warm our heart and send a huge acceleration push to our spirit here in Israel to hear the president of the US stand behind us in a way that the president of the US declared or made his declaration yesterday.
General Padan, we were told, at least the press reported, the first shipment by air of weaponry coming from the US to Israel. Are you at liberty? Can you speak about, in terms of replenishing stock, making sure there's enough stock of Iron Dome batteries, of PGMs, of different missiles and arsenals necessary, especially if it's a two-pronged war, both in the south and the north?
The IDF do kind of storage and ammunition calculation from the very beginning we understand that it's gonna be a long war, and we calculate the amount of missiles that we use in our anti-missiles defense unit, and with our Air Force and artillery ammunition. So we're planning it in a way that will allow us to continue and fulfill our mission and our targets for a very long time. The support and the air chain that come from the US are significantly important, and it's part of the program, by the way. It's not a surprise. That it doesn't come by surprise. Those lists of ammunition are sitting in the offices between Israel and the US military diplomacy for months, ready for the green light. So the program, and I'm happy that the US are sending us all the support. It's significantly important and allowed Israel to continue full power ahead with our mission to defeat Hamas.
Major General Padan, thank you very much. Thank you for that update. As well, and please, I'm going to share some thoughts with the members of the FIDF family. Please feel free to share as well. We have received, over the course of the past few hours, incredible requests in terms of emergency medical equipment. Emergency medical equipment that's going to be utilized for sure in the south if there's a war in the north. We're at this point in the campaign in a position where we need incredible funds, very significant funds for multiple types of equipment, whether it is over 20 some ambulances. If you take a look right now, Major General Padan is getting on the ground. It's a red alert. It's a red alert right now in the south. But there'll be the need for that. Field hospitals. Many of you remember the movie or the show MASH. Those MASH field hospitals. We're going to be funding those. There are a number of other, tragically, a number of other needs as well. Just it's something that we hate to talk about. But bulletproof hearses. A hearse that can take, those who have passed, who sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice for Israel, for the people of Israel, taking them out of a battle zone and making sure that their body is brought back, taken care of, etc. There'll be many, many other requests, but these are requests that we're receiving just of today. General Padan, there were rockets that went over your head just now.
Yeah, nothing close.
We're glad that you're safe. General Padan, would you want to speak to some of the emergency medical needs that were being asked that you yourself have been speaking with the medical corps about?
I just yesterday and today to the commander of the medical corps to learn what is the real needs of the medical corps and help the IDF organize the donation request from us. They're asking for ambulances. I mean, it's in combat 4x4 ambulance that can actually maneuver behind the battalions that get into Gaza and help them with evacuate wounded soldiers from the field. They ask for other medical equipment. We already supplied plasma and other medical equipment to the IDF. So there is a very long list of medicines and medical equipment. And the reason for that stand on two things. One, I don't know if you saw the videos and the stream of Hamas at the very of this war. The Hamas attacked from the air with drone and destroyed 3 ambulances the very first hours of this war. And later on, because of the amount of casualties and because the civilian hospitals in Israel, many of the south, were flow with wounded civilians and soldiers, the IDF support them with the emergency storages of the IDF and while helping the IDF reorganize those storages and get ready to the next phase of the war. So what we're trying to do right now is to get organized. We're all getting ready to the next step of this war, and that's significantly part of it.
Major General Padan, thank you very much. There are 2 wonderful people who are members of the FIDF family that run these briefings. Zahava Vidal, who runs it out of Israel, and Rudy. Rudy's a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Don't hold that against him. Rudy from Philadelphia, who's an incredible member of the FIDF team here in the States. And they now have with them Shani, who is a member of the military, the IDF Military Spokespersons Bureau. And I think we're going to be turning at this point to Shani. Lieutenant Shani, it's an honor for us, the friends of the IDF, to have the chance to meet you, to hear from you. The last time we heard from you is you spoke to us from Turkey during the earthquake, during the incredible job that Picud Orif, the Home Front Command's Chilutz v'Hatzalah search and rescue mission, search and rescue division, where they saved 19 lives. They literally treated hundreds and hundreds in the makeshift hospitals. And you were the face, you were the voice of the IDF in Turkey. It's an honor for us to hear from you and to learn from you, Lieutenant Shani.
It's an honor for me to be here with you all. It's funny, in this last couple of days, I've been thinking a lot about Turkey and everything that I've seen there and everything that the forces and the families are probably seeing now. And there's no comparison. There's no comparison. So I think I'm going to start off with a bit of explanation about how everything started. I missed the beginning of Nadav telling you guys what he's doing now in the South, and he said it incredibly. All of the forces are working so hard to work, to protect, to save as many people as we can, to prevent more terrorists from coming in and hurting more people. So we are in the 5th day of the war. It all started Saturday morning, as you all know, 6:30, a barrage of rockets firing towards all of Israel. Everybody waking up, everybody going into bomb shelter, nobody knows what's going on. And in a short amount of time, we understood this is not like anything that we have ever seen in the past. Thousands of terrorists just attacking Israel, and not attacking military people or security forces, attacking civilians, people who are not involved, hurting kids, parents, grandparents, anything that they could have found, with no humanitarian work at all, no side of humanitarian. And since we started that, we are fighting for the 5th day. We're going to continue fighting. We're going to continue doing our work as best as we can. protecting the civilians in the state of Israel. In the meantime, Hamas has fired over 5,000 rockets towards Israel, constantly trying to wear us out, constantly trying to show us that he's still working, but we have everything we need, and all of the country is really recruited for this war, and actually protecting and fighting Hamas and fighting the people who want to hurt us in all fronts, and protecting and going on in all fronts. To the IDF, he already recruited more than 3,000 and 60,000 reservist people who are leaving their homes, their families, their jobs, and getting their equipment and going to protect the country. And this is the biggest amount of reservists that we have ever seen, and the biggest war that we have ever seen so far. We have struck over 2,500 terror locations and terror means within the Gaza Strip, places that we know that are Hamas related and Hamas activized, and really, like Nadav said, pinpointing the places and finding the exact places and people of Hamas who are working from within the Gaza Strip, trying to create more terror against Israel and stopping them. For now, we have already lost a lot of soldiers and civilians are killed, sadly. And we have more than 3,000 civilians hurt and in hospitals. And like you said, a lot of the country is really recruited to that. And there is the talk about medical equipment. And I think that the focus is really helping the hospitals and people really it's amazing to see the society right now. I'm glad that you guys are all far and safe, but it's amazing to see how the society here really got together and everybody's doing everything that they can. And we are still in an ongoing fight. There's no more crossing into Israel of terrorists from the Gaza Strip, but there are still people, like Nadav explained, who in this time have hid or found location that they're constantly still coming and trying to create terror attacks. Just 5 minutes ago, while Nadav was speaking, I was getting all the alerts that we just took out another 8 terrorists going over to Zikim Beach, a small community right at the beach, which a wall separates from between them and the Gaza Strip. We're not still sure how exactly they crossed or where they came from, but this is not stopping. And all of the IDF is putting all of its efforts in really neutralizing any threat that we're currently facing within the state of Israel territory and preventing anyone else from crossing over, and just making sure that we're not missing anyone in the surrounding area of the Gaza Strip. And I think that the best thing for us to do, because I know that there are probably a lot of questions, and I think that you guys see on the news everything that's going on, and there are a lot of rumors and things, and everybody has questions. And I think that the best thing is, if anybody has any specific questions, I would love to answer and provide any information that I can.
Thank you very much, Shani, for the update. The concern that many have, of course, is that this be a two-pronged war. And we understand that of the 360,000 reservists, even only 300,000 were called up. Those 360,000 who showed up, probably 2/3 have been put up on the northern border. Could you speak from your perspective what you can share with us about the threat on the northern border, about the concern, about the potential for that to erupt any day? And we know that every few hours, it's not necessarily Hezbollah. Sometimes it's a Shia militia. Sometimes it's the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Sometimes it's others. But can you speak about the situation on the northern border?
Yes. So exactly like Steve said, we are in a high alert up north. In the last days, we have also seen people trying to infiltrate from Lebanon. We had 2 incidents that terrorists were trying to cross over and create a terror attack. our brave forces got there and stopped them. We also lost a few soldiers on the way, people who stopped them. We don't want Lebanon to get into this. They don't need to get into this. Lebanon is a country in a very poor economic state, and they should take care of their people. But currently Hezbollah is more interested in trying to heat up the area and create something against the state of Israel. And we are in full awareness and full alert towards that. All of our forces are spread out. We have everything we need to prevent them. And we are constantly talking to the people who are living and working on the Northern Front and keeping them updated. And if there's any threat of something happening, we alert them immediately. And we're working very hard to prevent them from doing something that they might regret. And because our main focus right now is the southern area and to restore stability and safety to that area.
Can you speak to us both on the southern front and the northern front about the evacuation of communities? Many people here have relatives. I know we have a good friend whose relatives said that today Kiryat Shimona really is a ghost town. Could you speak to the evacuation by the army of those civilian areas?
Of course. So after we got control over the small communities, I'm going to start with the southern front. After we got control over the southern communities, people who are living really close to the Gaza Strip area, we offered them evacuation and we got them to safe places and we got their families together. We even got a dog back to his family after we located him. And this is was not a forced evacuation. People who wanted to stay in their homes could have stayed in their homes, and it's fine, and we're taking care of them and we're protecting them in their homes. But people who wanted to evacuate were supported and got to hotels and all kinds of places that the country has provided for them to now handle everything that they have been through and really trying to process everything that happened while the forces are currently still operating in their area that they live in. And currently, a lot of the population in the southern, the area surrounding the Gaza Strip were evacuated. They chose to go away from that for now, tilt down. And on the northern front, because people were intimidated from the threat that something will start against Hezbollah, a lot of people decided that they want to stay safe and that they are choosing for the meanwhile to go to their families and relatives in central Israel and just staying updated constantly with the security forces, with everything that the media and the government is providing of the information. And the government is really helping everybody who wants to go away for a while. And there are places spread it out all across the country, and people are opening their homes for everybody who will just want to come. But currently, there's no evacuation order in the northern front. It's just people who decided that in the meantime they're choosing that they're taking a step. But all of our forces are spread out in both arenas and keeping both of them safe. We are aware, and all of our forces are in high alert, and we have everything we need to protect. We're ready.
Listen, Lieutenant Shani, we're profoundly grateful to the IDF, to the commanders, to the soldiers, what they're doing. They're not just defending Israel, they're not just defending the Jewish people. They're on the front line of humanity. They're on the front line of anything that's decent, that's ethical, that's moral. They're on the front line of all of Western values. And we're incredibly proud of you, proud of the IDF, and we thank you. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Stay strong, and we pray for you, and we pray for your success.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.